Good morning to one of my favorite countries in Europe. I'm back in Albania. I've come here about 2 years ago for the first time, and I've decided to return to one of my favorite countries in Europe, and probably Europe's cheapest capital city, the city of Tirana, here in Albania, which is one of Europe's poorest countries and which used to be, up until 1991, the so-called North Korea of Europe, a communist nation which was led by a communist dictator named Enver Hoxha, who was not only a dictator but also a psychopath. He tortured and murdered millions of Albanians, which led to millions of Albanians fleeing the country and creating one of the biggest diasporas in the world. I'm currently at one of Tirana's most famous places, the Skanderbeg Square, with this giant Albanian flag in the background. And so, it's about time for lunch now. I'm really hungry, haven't eaten yet today, so let's start this vlog, this exploration of Tirana, with some lunch. Vamos! Albania is one of the most diverse countries when it comes to religion in Europe. About 60% of the population are Muslims, and the other 40% or more are Christians. And you can see this here. You can see a giant church here. I hope my camera picks it up. And on the other hand, we can see a mosque. And right in the middle of it, we have Mr. Skanderbeg. Now, if you guys have any Albanian friends, then probably you'll have heard of Skanderbeg, who is a hero for all the Albanians. Skanderbeg was a lord and military commander, an Albanian military commander, there you can see him, who chased the Ottomans, the Turks, out of Albania. The Turks had invaded Albania for hundreds of years, and he was the guy that chased the Ottomans out of Albania. Thank you, man. Faleminderit. Friendly people here. And by the way, faleminderit is the only Albanian word I speak. It means thank you. Albania, Tirana, is so cheap, guys. It's the cheapest place I've been to in Europe, and this hasn't changed over the past 2 years. I've been here 2 years ago, and this hasn't changed. I even reckon that Albania, Tirana, is cheaper when it comes to food and drinks than most places in Latin America. Yesterday I've had a pizza here, a giant pizza actually, a delicious giant pizza for €4. It cost me like 450 lek, which is about €4.20 or something. So where else in Europe would you get this? And so today, with you guys, accompanied by you guys, I'll be going to a fancier place. Albanian, by the way, is one of the most unique languages in the world. There's no language in the world that is similar to Albanian. But their vocabulary at times is a bit like Italian. And also it reminds me a bit of Turkish at times. I mean, both the Turks have been here for hundreds of years, and also the Italians have been here at times. In World War II, the Italians have been here. Albanian is considered one of the oldest languages in the world. And it's very, very complicated to learn it and to speak it. The only words I remember and I know is faleminderit. And right here we can see the friends on the political stage of Albania. Albania is not an EU country, but is a NATO nation. And yeah, we can see the Albanian flag, the Bulgarian flag, the US obviously. Albania has very good relations with the US. The German flag, the Kosovo flag obviously, the Greek flag, the Qatari flag, Saudi Arabian flag, the UK, Italy, France, Japan, Turkey, Switzerland and Montenegro. Those are the best friends of Albania. And the biggest enemies of Albania are the Serbs, the Serbians. And yeah, all you Albanians listening know quite well, and anyone who has Albanian friends knows quite well how the Albanians feel about the Serbs. Right guys, this here is the old town, the oldest part of Tirana, and right ahead of us is the castle of Tirana, a medieval castle here in Tirana, which the ruins of which have been turned into like a fancy spot for the local Tiranians and tourists alike to come and have a drink or have a meal. In other words, this medieval castle, this ancient medieval castle, has been turned into a fancy place to come to and have a good meal, or go out on a date with your birds, go out for a drink with some mates. So let's get inside and have a meal, because I'm starving. I've only had coffee so far today, and yeah, let's go for a meal. Tirana Castle. So this medieval fortress here, as you can see, has been turned into probably Tirana's most fancy place. You know that usually I don't go when I travel, I don't eat out at places like these, in these fancy areas, and this probably is Tirana's fanciest area and most expensive to eat out at, but I wanted to show you guys how cheap Tirana actually is. So this is why I've come here, I've chosen to come here to this place to show it to you guys and to show you Albanian prices. And one thing which you've got to know when you come to Albania is that here in Albania, in stark contrast to other countries in Europe, people actually love to smoke. So wherever you go, or whichever restaurant or bar it is, you'll always have an ashtray at your table. Each table here has an ashtray on it. So, yeah, here in Albania they really like to smoke. Faleminderit.
The best beer in town.
Best beer in town. Thank you. Faleminderit. You've heard it guys, best beer in town. Sabaja craft beer. It's a local Tiranian beer, so yeah, let's go for it. Cheers guys, cheers to Albania and to Tirana. By the way, it cost €3.50, which is not so cheap, but we're in a restaurant. So in a restaurant you always pay a bit more for beer. If you go to a supermarket or a pub, it's going to be a lot cheaper. But yeah, still compared to the rest of Europe, I mean, in Dublin, in my last video when I was in Dublin, I paid €10 for a pint at that Temple bar. And also in other pubs in Dublin, you pay like €6 for a pint. So this is not a pub, this is a restaurant, an upscale restaurant here in Tirana, and probably, yeah, the fanciest area of Tirana. So €3.50 for a beer, that's not too much.
So this is beer from what we call now Kosovo, which is north of Albania.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
A small brewery which makes craft beer in Kosovo, and we are selling it here in Albania. Sabaja means beer in ancient Illyrian.
Right guys, my healthy and fancy meal here has arrived, check it out. Got myself some chicken breast with vegetables today. I needed to eat healthy today. Yesterday I had pizza, and all the time in the UK and Ireland I ate the cheapest possible food. And yeah, I need some healthy food today, and I went for some chicken with vegetables. And what do you think this fancy healthy meal has cost me? €10? €8? No, €6. €6 it cost me. Where else in Europe which you get this quality food for €6. I'm telling you, not in a lot of countries. So Albania, top notch. Need to come here. Highly recommend it. Probably in the summer it's better than now. It's currently pissing down, but who cares? Who cares? So I'm gonna smash this meal now, and then hopefully it's gonna stop raining at some time, and then we continue the exploration of Tirana. Right guys, we're done. It stopped raining after I finished my meal. We're now leaving Tirana Castle, the medieval fancy castle behind, and yeah, we'll continue our exploration of Tirana. For me, one of the most underrated cities in Europe. And here we've got an example. I'm just going to show you guys an example of the Albanian language. I mean, it's not similar to anything else. Check it out. Ne, shume, shperiblime, shtojdite. Tirana, by the way, is also, for me, one of the safest cities I've ever visited in Europe. Believe it or not, I feel a lot safer here than in any city in Western Europe. May it be in France, in England, in Germany, Holland. I feel a lot safer here. And check it out guys. The biggest mosque in Albania and one of the biggest in Europe. Wowzers. When you see this, I mean, when you take a picture of that massive mosque behind me and you'd show it to someone, not telling anyone where you are, people would think you're in Istanbul probably. Well no, you're in Tirana. Amazing. If there is one thing I could criticize possibly about Tirana, it is that the traffic here is horrendous. It is the only thing I could criticize. Driving here, I've already driven here when I came here 2 years ago. It's horrendous, it's a nightmare. And yet another example of the diversity, the religious diversity of Albania. A few meters down the road from the country's biggest mosque, we have this massive church. Check it out. Right, on the other side of the road, we've got the pyramids of Tirana. Believe it or not, what this building over there is a pyramid. Nearly there, guys. Nearly on top of the pyramid. I'm out of breath, but we've made it to the top and it's flipping worth it. Check it out guys. The beautiful capital of Albania from above. Hello. Long story short, it's a wonderful city which I reckon you should visit when you come to Europe. Especially to you Americans and non-Europeans visiting Europe. I mean, you'd probably go to Rome and to Paris for sure, and to London, but you should also put Tirana on the map, on your short list, on your bucket list. Albania's former communist dictator and Hoxha was a maniac, psychopath, and also pretty paranoid. For some reason he thought all over the years that Albania was going to be attacked from all sides. He saw enemies everywhere. He thought Albania was going to be attacked by the Russians, the Americans, the Greeks, whoever. And so he started building bunkers all over Albania, which still today are spread all over the country, even throughout Tirana, through the capital. Like this one, check it out. Right in the middle of the capital, we've got this bunker here. That basically never got used because Albania never got attacked. So, bunkers like these are spread all over the country randomly, and you can even enter them. So, let's check out an Albanian bunker in the middle of Tirana from the inside. Oh, I hope there won't be any rats inside. Oh, not the best place to hang out then. So this is basically it, guys. This is the view from inside an Albanian bunker. How many people do you think would have fitted inside here? I mean, check out how small these things are. Maybe like 3 people. Max. Oh, wowzers. But be honest with me, guys. Did you know, or did you even think, that the capital of Albania here, Tirana, one of the poorest, if not the poorest country in Europe. Not the poorest, but one of the poorest countries in Europe. I think there's 1 or 2 countries in Europe that are poorer, like Moldova and maybe Macedonia. But did you even think that this city, Tirana, would be so beautiful, so modern, so idyllic, with all of these parks spread all over it? I mean, when I came here the first time, I was stunned. This seemingly unimportant, derelict building, or should I say villa, right behind me here, right in the middle of Tirana, is the residence, well, the former residence of Enver Hoxha, the ruthless, paranoid and maniac dictator of Albania. Here at Burger King in Tirana, you get 2 burgers, a Whopper and a crispy chicken, for 500 lek, which is about a bit under €5, like $5 approximately. Would you get this in your country at Burger King? 2 burgers for $5. And as I'm saying this, guys, this is pretty ironic. Maybe the most ironic thing I've seen so far here in Tirana. This is, here we've got the former mansion of Enver Hoxha, the communist dictator of Albania, who closed Albania off to the rest of the world. Albania was like North Korea when he was in charge here. And right next to it, you've got capitalist KFC. So ironic. I mean, Enver Hoxha, if he was still alive, he's probably turning in his grave. The building right behind me, guys, is the presidential office of Albania. This is where the president of Albania is leading the country. And on the other side of the road, right across the presidential office, or little palace we should say, is, believe it or not, this fancy looking Marriott building with a Marriott hotel in it is not only home to a massive mall and a hotel, but also to Albania's national football stadium. It is the Air Albania Stadium. And as such, one of the most modern stadiums I've ever seen in my life, especially in Europe. Wowzers. Massive respect to the Tirana and Albania authorities for building this stadium. This is one of the most revolutionary football stadiums, if not the most revolutionary and futuristic football stadium I've seen in my life. And buildings in particular. This building houses a football stadium with about 50,000 seats in it, I reckon, a shopping mall and a hotel. Crazy, innit? This place is also hosting concerts, by the way. I mean, for such an arena to be in Europe or the US, alright, but to be in Albania, one of Europe's poorest countries, is incredible, innit? It's a reason for me to call this city maybe Europe's most underrated, but also maybe one of its prettiest, you know, and most modern. It's crazy. We're now currently walking through Tirana's version of Chapultepec Park in Mexico City, or Hyde Park in New York. We're now walking through Tirana's biggest park. Now be honest with me guys, tell me in the comments, did you know, or did you even think that Tirana, the capital of Albania, one of Europe's poorest countries and one of Europe's cheapest countries, is as beautiful as this and as modern as this? I bet you didn't, unless you were here. What an idyllic spot to end this first video here in Albania and this first video in Tirana. Check it out, at this beautiful artificial lake in this massive park here in Tirana. Well, I reckon it's been a great day, a great first day here in Albania, in Tirana. I'm glad to be back in this country and glad to be back in this city and glad to be here with you guys. And yeah, there's more to come here from Albania. I've got some more days here. I'll be heading to another place here in the country which I haven't seen yet, which I haven't visited yet. Another city. You can guess in the comments where you think I'll be heading to. I mean, it has it all. Beautiful landscapes, a beautiful capital city with loads to do. We've only seen some glimpses of it today. There's loads to do here in the city, loads of museums, loads of interesting stuff to do. Delicious food, great weather, especially in summer. Now it's not summertime, it's the beginning of spring and of winter right now at the time of recording, and it's beautiful already, good weather already. So great weather, good climate, good food, beautiful country, good people, and it's cheap. So what more do you need? So make sure to visit Albania and to visit Tirana. Thanks for watching, love you all, see you in the next one.